History hides secrets that challenge our very understanding of humanity, but none are as dark as the anatomy of Unit 731. We are exposing the terrifying intersection of wartime innovation and absolute moral collapse, where humans were stripped of their names for the sake of biological warfare. Brace yourself for an investigation into the most horrific scientific experiments ever recorded.
Hidden in the frozen wastelands of 1930s Manchuria sat a massive, heavily guarded facility locals thought was a lumbermill. The locals noticed that the dense smoke pouring continuously from the facility's massive incinerators never actually smelled like burning wood. Inside, the staff casually referred to their inventory as logs. They were not made of timber. They were living human beings. This was Unit 731. Its architect was Surgeon General Shiro Ishii, a brilliant microbiologist known for keeping bacteria in petri dishes as pets. The 1925 Geneva Protocol strictly banned biological weapons. Ishii reasoned that if the world feared these weapons enough to outlaw them, they must be the ultimate tool for Japanese supremacy. He aggressively lobbied the High Command, and in 1936, Emperor Hirohito officially sanctioned the creation of this covert biological warfare division. In Manchuria, Ishii built a 6-square-kilometer complex in Pingfang. It housed 150 buildings, airports, and incubators breeding millions of plague-carrying fleas. The perimeter was sealed by electric fences and watchtowers. No prisoner ever escaped alive. Ishii successfully marshaled the full weight of the imperial state to construct an isolated fortress where the laws of humanity ceased to exist. Inside these walls, a culture of scientific reductionism took hold. Victims were stripped of their names, assigned a 3-digit inventory number, and treated strictly as organic material to be dismantled. The subjects were primarily Chinese civilians, but the facility also processed Russian, Korean, and Allied prisoners of war captured in the Pacific Theater. The cornerstone of their research was vivisection. To study the uncorrupted progression of diseases, surgeons sliced open conscious victims without anesthesia. They shoved rags into their mouths to muffle the screams. In the dead of winter, physiologist Yoshimura Hisato dragged prisoners outside and submerged their bare limbs in ice water until they froze solid. To check if they were ready, he would strike their arms with a stick until they sounded like wooden planks. He then poured scalding water over the skin to observe how quickly the muscle and tissue peeled away from the bone. Other tests served no military purpose at all. Researchers locked prisoners in pressure chambers until their eyes ruptured, or strapped them into giant centrifuges and spun them to death out of pure, morbid curiosity. This behavior was entirely institutionalized. It was a perversion of the scientific method, designed to transform living people into disposable data points. The terror soon moved from the laboratory to the skies. Unit 731 engineered the Uji bomb, a porcelain shell designed to explode in midair and rain plague-infected fleas over a wide radius. They field-tested these weapons on unsuspecting Chinese cities like Ningbo and Chengde. Outbreaks of cholera and bubonic plague swept through the countryside, killing anywhere from 200,000 to 500,000 civilians. The prisoners tried to fight back. In the summer of 1945, 2 handcuffed Russian captives tackled a guard and seized the keys, demanding to be shot rather than experimented on. The rebellion was violently crushed with gunfire, much like an earlier escape attempt where researchers suffocated over 100 people by pumping tear gas into the courtyard. By August 1945, the Japanese Empire was collapsing. The Soviet Red Army was rapidly advancing across Manchuria, closing in on the Pingfang facility. Fearing discovery, Ishii ordered his men to take the secret to the grave. They poisoned the 300 remaining prisoners with hydrogen cyanide gas, burned their bodies, buried the ashes, and rigged the concrete buildings with explosives. The physical compound was reduced to rubble, but the true threat survived. Ishii and his top doctors fled the approaching army, carrying thousands of pages of blood-stained research data with them. Following the Japanese surrender, the American occupation forces began hunting for Ishii. He had faked his own funeral and gone into hiding with a small fortune. When U.S. intelligence finally tracked him down, they made a highly calculated decision. The Japanese had recorded extensive biological data tested on human subjects, information American scientists were legally and ethically forbidden from gathering, and which they refused to let fall into Soviet hands. A 1947 War Department memo made the arrangement official, stating the data was of such high value to national security that it should be retained and deliberately withheld from any war crimes prosecution. While the United States publicly prosecuted the Nazis for atrocities at Nuremberg, they quietly granted full secret immunity to the butchers of Pingfang. The American cover-up was so absolute that when the Soviet Union put 12 captured Unit 731 members on trial in 1949, the United States successfully dismissed the entire proceedings as communist propaganda. The architects of some of the world's worst medical crimes used the emerging paranoia of the Cold War to purchase their total freedom. Today, the ruins of Unit 731 sit cold and empty in Hargan, but the men who operated it returned to a bustling, prosperous society. Shielded from consequence, these doctors seamlessly integrated into the Japanese elite. They became prestigious university professors, the head of the Japanese Olympic Committee, and top executives at major pharmaceutical corporations. Shiro Ishii never spent a single day in a prison cell. He died of throat cancer in 1959 as a completely free man. The victims were left with no justice, no compensation, and for decades, no acknowledgement. Their bodies had been reduced to ashes, scattered in the snow. The story of Unit 731 reveals a reality where the most unspeakable crimes are not the work of monsters in the dark, but of brilliant men in white coats, sanctioned by science and protected by the state.